And welcome to a another edition of the NXT review show. I was trying to do the intro, but I guess I am not that great. What is this? Hold on.
And there's our NXT intro, which hopefully will be updated soon, considering that is no longer my name on here. But here we are with the one and only Sabrina Stella, ready for some spring breaking, along with my co-host for the night, Venomous Vincent, as he likes to call himself, I see.
Actually, no, I was given that name.
By who?
Actually, the consultant and Dan the Man.
Of course, CC had a play in hand with that name, so to speak. He didn't have any help with any of my names other than when I first started. I had to take a part of it off so people wouldn't get butthurt, but it's fine. I don't care.
So, did you enjoy the show tonight?
I moderately always enjoy a good episode of NXT. Didn't get to catch the first part right away because I was doing the review for X-Men 97 since I did grow up watching it. So I have to talk about it because if I don't, I'm going to explode. But that's what the blogs and reviews are for online, so I can catch up with it. But I did get to watch the rest, and I did enjoy it.
I got to tell you, I have not watched X-Men 97. Is this a remake of the show that was back in the day, or is this a new?
It's basically a continuation of the original, so to speak. The animation just looks a little different, and they dive in a little bit more into some of the storylines from back then.
So if I watched it now, would I be confused?
No, if you don't remember stuff from like the comics and such, and things that pop up online. A few things here and there might be like, what? But other than that, it's a pretty good watch.
All right. Well, yeah, like I said to you before we started, I do got a bone to pick with you about your NXT draft.
Right, too.
Well, actually, the whole roster. And I'm going to tell you why. I guess I'm confused because I think what was supposed to happen was you were supposed to pick people from all brands to make your own brand that would make NXT stand out more.
I was thinking of it as the development brand that it is known as. So that's why most of my picks were NXT people.
Okay. I think there's a couple people. Odyssey Jones to be.
He got drafted onto Raw still, so there's that.
He did, but I don't really see him.
They have him on house shows frequently, and they don't have any storylines for him as far as right now. So that is not my fault. I figured, hey, why not bring him back down to NXT and have him work on it some more so he can actually be ready for something that they might have in the future.
Are you a Sean Spears fan?
I like his work. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan of his in the world, but I do like his work, and I'm just happy that they let him keep that gimmick as opposed to making him go back to being Ty Dillinger.
And Lexis King, I'm very curious about him. I'm not a fan of his name, and I really don't think he's wrestling like he was in AEW. I mean, I know it's a new character, but I'm very curious on how they're going to pursue him. Are they going to bring him up and use another original name, or are they going to keep him at the same position?
They'll probably stick with this gimmick that they got going on for him and build him up some more and see what they can do with him. I only said his name that because he's one of the ones that they brought in that they're trying to hype up. Keep him here, help him improve. That's the main reason why I picked him.
All right. Well, yeah. So Spring Break, what would you say, show 2?
Spring Break and Night 2.
night 2 was a success. There was a couple moments that I thought could have been better. There were some people on there that the first time seeing that I really just don't understand why they're on. But we'll get to those moments. You said you did not see the beginning of the show. So how far up did you see? So maybe I can fill you in on what you missed.
I started watching like around 9:00, so
Okay.
around then.
All
So
right.
I mean, it's 6 matches with a few promos here and there at the end of the night. So I missed half of the matches and maybe 1 or 2 promos, but I lived. But as I got sent for our thumbnail for tonight's, I am one of the happiest people alive because Wesley is back after supposed to being out for a year to recover. So I made a much quicker recovery, a la John Cena 2008 Royal Rumble edition. Are you gonna dog me on liking Wesley now too?
No, I'm gonna tell you, I'm very curious on how. I mean, I've seen him before, and I know wasn't he part of a tag team at one point?
He was, but unfortunately, due to some stuff that was said about in a tweet long ago by his former partner on the show, his former partner got let go and is now on TNA as part of the Rascals with Here We Go.
So I'm curious on how they're gonna bring. I honestly do think that I think he can hold his own.
He has been holding his own. That's why they made him a champion by himself.
And we should bring up the fact that the draft is now complete. We should maybe go over the picks for the draft. Ilyan Dragunov got drafted to Raw, which is a big move. Lyra Valkyrie.
Valkyria.
She went to Raw, and then our SmackDown picks.
You forgot Kiana James also got drafted, which is a big surprise to everybody.
You're right. She did. SmackDown got Carmella Hayes, which is a huge get for SmackDown. Baron Corbin, which I kind of laughed about because I at this point I think Baron Corbin's a joke in WWE.
I get it. He's had a few gimmicks here and there that look like a joke. I went to a Raw taping when he was still broke Corbin.
Yeah, I just don't understand what they're doing with him. Like, I know that at one point they were bringing him in NXT to make the NXT show a better place. I just don't understand why they're bringing him back up, unless they're going to have a storyline for him. And then I think didn't Dijakovic get drafted?
Dijak also got drafted. Yes,
to Raw, right?
Yes, and so did Blair Davenport.
And she went to SmackDown.
Yes.
So I mean, not bad choices.
No. It's just what are they going to do now as far as with the rest of their talents? And I feel bad for poor Izzy Dane because her meal ticket to relevancy got taken away.
Who are we talking about?
Some really tall blonde chick named Izzy Dame, who wasn't really paid too much attention until they paired her up with Kiana because they had nothing for her to do.
I don't know how you feel about the NXT brand. And I guess this is my biggest problem about it. So I don't think the NXT brand will ever be as good as it was when it was in Full Sail. Like, that was a very special time for wrestling fans here in Florida.
I get it completely. I started watching some of the NXT stuff when it was still the black and gold, when they were doing stuff over there, as well as when they transitioned over to the Performance Center. So I get it. I started liking it when it was still like in Full Sail. So I understand what you mean.
I'm very confused on how they I feel like every time they do this, they screw themselves. And the reason why I say it is like tonight was very star-studded. I mean, you had a lot of people from Raw. Come on. I mean, you had the Profits, Pete Dunne, and oh God, what's his name? Pete Dunne and what's their tag team name?
The New Catch Republic, Tyler Bate.
There we go.
Spent time on NXT UK, then they brought him to NXT, and now he's up in SmackDown with his partner, Pete Dunne.
So there was a lot
no longer Butch, thank God.
Yeah, that was a horrible name. I thought Butch was just a bad, and sometimes you scratch your head going, Why would they? Why do they change these guys' characters and names? But like what I was going to say was, every time they do this and they draft other people, I wonder what's next. And I know I don't know if the OC is permanently on NXT brand, which if they are, that's a huge get for them.
I mean, technically they got drafted onto SmackDown, if I'm not mistaken.
So that was just
the OC and Michin have been drafted onto SmackDown. I think they just been brought down there to go down to make the people that they're challenging look good.
So I scratch my head every time because I feel like no matter who they bring in and who they trade, it's always a bad move for them. It's never good. Like, you know, like, and hear me out. I think they should have kept Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa because there's such old names down there.
They are, but
everybody
there wasn't much more for them to do down there as far as that. I mean, they had Tommaso have the championship for a while to make Braun Breaker look good, which he did. And Tommaso and Johnny Gargano, yeah, he was the NXT champion. He was the North American champion. He was the tag team champion there. What else could he have done down there? And now they're getting a push, which I think they're going to all form back together, him, his wife, Indy, and Tommaso, to become the Way 2.0 up there and be a heel faction like they were before people started liking them, and then they had to turn them face.
I keep seeing little clippets and here and there of them trying to get together. So that's what you think? You think they're gonna bring that faction back?
I think they are, and I think they could.
All right, well, let's get into the show. Opening the show up, Trick Williams opened the show up as your new NXT champion, and thanking Dragunov for his contribute to the NXT brand, and now congratulating him to Raw. And his speech was cut very short with a lady named Lash Legend makes her way down to the ring, and you know, I just don't think she's very good at her job. I think it's very awkward, and I think the crowd tonight was seeing that. And there was one point in the show, and when they were talking, that she had the envelope out, and they were chanting, "You're the father." So
when everybody sees that envelope, they think Maury.
I know. So I can't get over the fact that I just thought it was a very bad spot. You're going to bring somebody out with an envelope. You're not going to give them any clues or anything. And then you're going to have to wait until next week. So if anybody missed the rest of the show,
luckily they put that clip up on social media, so I did see that. And I was just like, girl, what are you trying to do? Just because he caught you off guard and kissed you in front of everybody a while back doesn't mean you have to bring up some envelope and try to make it seem like this is one of those are you or are you not the baby daddy kind of things. It's just like, what are we doing here? Your buddies aren't out here. You could speak your truth.
Yes. Very, very true. And then we're off to the North American Championship. Ivar from
the Viking Raiders.
There you go. I'm glad you know all this, because sometimes I have a brain fart, and I definitely don't know what this guy's name is, because I always butcher it when I see him.
No, that's what I'm here for. Just ask Ron.
So who did Ivar take on tonight?
He took on the current North American champion, Obafemi.
Okay. So, and I'm not familiar with Obafemi. Fill me in on this guy. Is he he's been there for a while?
He's been there for not even a year yet, I think, or maybe it's been a good minute. He's been there for a few months, but close to probably about a year now. They had a breakout tournament. He was in it. He was one of the tops. And I guess they liked him enough that even though he hasn't been there for that long, that they made him the new champion, the new North American champion. And he's been a very dominant one. It's one of those ones that could put people through a squash match. But if you give him someone that can match him strength, size, and power, could go on for a minute, which I definitely think is why Ivar was sent there. And from the bits that I did find on social media, it was fine. It was a very decently good match. But my favorite part was the ending because, as some people would say, including myself, one of the greatest North American champions that NXT has had, Wesley is back after being taken out from injury, which I was there live when he made that announcement, which broke my heart. So to see him come back, and with our lovely thumbnail, that shout out to Mike Knox for making it for us. It made me so happy. I could have screamed, but I didn't.
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Obi Femi reminds me of Moose in TNA.
That's fair. I've seen Moose wrestle once when TNA did come into town, so I can understand that.
So Obi Femi picks up the win and retains the North American Championship. The next match, I hope this rundown is on point because it doesn't look like it has promos on it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Post match, Wesley is back. He stared down the champ. So
the crowd goes wild. Now I'm just gonna say this: the executive consultant loves to dog on this guy, be like, "Oh, this guy's not talented. He's just boring. He has no charisma. He doesn't do it for me. He doesn't have to do it for you, EC. He does it for everybody in that room. You want to know how? Because when Thea Hale and Fallon Henley were coming out to the ring so that way they can come out, they were talking. But you know what? You could hardly hear them because all you could hear were the welcome back chants for Mr. Wesley. So you might not like him, EC, but myself and a whole lot of other people do. We love our underdogs. So let us root for our underdog. You don't have to like him. We can like him.
You're very passionate about your NXT, aren't you?
I'm passionate about the wrestlers that I like, and if I had to defend them because some people like to dog them because they're not their types, then so be it.
All right. Yeah, so you already said that Thea Haley and Fallon.
JC Jane.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
yes,
you're good.
Fallon Henley.
Yeah, and they were on their way out with Chase U. The fire up the crowd for the match for JC Jane, is it? Yeah.
Yes, JC Jane.
And this match actually very surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised that she lost. I know that she's a really big heel right now.
Yes, but I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I think part of the reason why they had her lose was to make Thea Hale look good, and also for what happened at the end, which makes sense from what I found on what I saw online, because they did put this a bit up on Twitter for what Fallon Henley did, because she turned. Now she is doing what Ron has been saying that she should have been doing for weeks, which is focusing on her and paying attention on her and not worrying about anybody else ever again. Now she stopped being the face locker room leader. Now she's going to try to be the heel locker room leader, which is going to be hard considering JC Jane is still down there.
All right. Yes, and that was a shocking heel turn for a lot of NXT fans.
Everybody in that room was shocked as hell from that turn. I will say that.
Let's see. We had a so we had a promo with Hype Real and Tyson. Oh boy.
Yeah, those names, they're a little bit hard to pronounce, or at least to figure out.
So Hype Real and Tyson Dunpoint and
Viewpoint and Tyrick Igwe, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name either. So if we butcher it, y'all, that is not our fault, because we're trying to figure it out ourselves. I would have to hear Alicia Taylor say it more than 20 times for me to fully know how to say that name. Because
and
even that name's a little confusing.
Tonight was their debut against the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. That they lost their very first match.
That happens. Sometimes you might lose your debut match, but you still make a good career. Look at John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena did lose his first match, didn't he? He did. Next, we have a promo with The Rock's daughter, which I got to tell you, I'm not very fond of her.
That's fair. Not a lot of people are.
I am not sold on her as the youngest GM of Raw. And here's my question to you: why do you think, knowing that she's the Rock's daughter and knowing that she, did the combine and probably impressed a lot of people, why do you think they put these people in these roles? Just like the SmackDown GM, what's his name? And he was huge on the Indies.
Nick Aldis.
He was huge on the Indies. So my question to you is, why do you think they waste talent and they put them in these positions?
Well, here's the thing. Before Ava was GM, she was in a faction called the Schism. Well, not the Schism. I think that was the name. I can't remember the name for the life of me because I didn't like the faction. But she was in it. She didn't wrestle too much. She did more talking and more promo work. And the promo work was fine. The in-ring work, she had like 1 or 2 matches live on TV and a few house shows. And they weren't really buying it, so to speak, as far as like her work in there. And I always said every time that she needed more work, she needed more training, but they weren't really sold on it too much. So they had her be a GM. They first had her be assisting Shawn Michaels in the back, like talking to people, getting them their matches and stuff, to the point where they're just, hey, let's make her a GM instead.
Charmaine is asking a question. Do you think the Good Brothers will be the next tag team champions?
If they don't build up another tag team, that's going to be the way that they're going to go. Despite the fact that the Good Brothers are technically drafted on SmackDown.
This
nice to see you again.
Okay. So Good Brothers pick up the win. Which again surprises me because I'm very surprised. It happens, like you said. And then, okay, so now we have Ava in the ring, and she is now talking about, excuse me, that the women's North American champion is going to be
first mid-card title for the women down there. Let's go! I've been saying it for ages.
Is going to be contested in the same way as the NXT North American Championship was contested, is in a ladder match.
So they're gonna have 12 of the best fight for that match, for that belt, which I'm happy for. Which we had some names come out, and one that surprised a good amount of people, one that I drafted onto my personal roster, Miss Michin Mia Yim.
I'm surprised, and then they changed her name, right? It's not Mia Yim anymore.
Well, she still goes by Mia Yim, but they just call her Michin, which is Korean for crazy. Since she is Korean, so it makes sense.
And then another person you drafted on your list was Soul. Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of the more over baby faces they have over there. I mean, her finisher move is called the Soul Snatcher, which you wouldn't expect from someone who does a whole surfer, chill, laid back kind of thing. And the people love her, so that's why I drafted her first, even though EC looked at me like I was the biggest idiot in the world. I did not care.
Jada Parker, she surprises me, and I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I am just very confused on the way that she presents herself when she comes out, because to me she's very hood. But I want to know what race she is. Is she Spanish? Is she Puerto Rican? Is she white? Do you know what race she is?
No, but I can look it up right now and check.
I think it's funny because I think what stands out to me is she's trying to play this. She's trying to be this hard ass in the ring, coming to the ring where she has this like this thug talk. But then all the way through the actual promo with all the other girls, she's smiling, she's giggling, she's breaking character to be that bad girl.
Well, and they like to break character outside of what they're doing, so I can kind of get that.
I tell you one that really drives me nuts is who's the chick, that Grace chick? What's her name? Ariana Grace.
I'm sorry, who?
Is it Ariana Grace?
What about her?
Oh my God, she drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, her character is like that whole supposed to act like a pageant girl, like trying to be all helpful and stuff, but is really being super annoying. And well, as far as we know about Jada Parker's nationality, she looks African American. However, most of her personal life and information like that is private. So, but she was born in the lovely city of Port St. Lucie in Florida.
Yeah, even with that promo we saw in the beginning of the show, it was Ariana Grace and
Gigi Dolan. The thing now is that she's trying to turn Gigi into a pageant girl named Georgina, which we all know eventually they're going to act a little bit like each other and then probably turn into a tag team.
Oh my God. I just, for me, I don't like when companies waste time with people. And I feel like this is a waste of time. Where
I feel like they're doing a lot with her now because she was injured for a while and out for like a year. So they're having her do more since she was out for so long and trying to make her relevant again.
I and I'm going to say this, and people are probably going to turn their heads. I just hope they don't do things. You know, when they had the MJF and Chris
Adam
Jericho,
Cole, baby.
Yeah, no. It was MJF and Chris Jericho, and they had like their best friend.
Yeah, because they had their mutual dislike to people like Sammy Guevara.
That's what I feel like this is starting to be like. It's going to come down to that road.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, they don't have anybody that they both don't like, so I highly doubt that's going to be the case.
All right,
so we'll just see where it goes. I mean, I've seen Ariana Grace wrestle in the Indies twice before she got called in, so she's a decent wrestler. I met her. She was very nice, so we'll just see where it goes from here as far as this storyline that they have going on, because they have to do something with Gigi because she's not as popular as they thought she would be after they split up Toxic Attraction, which was her and JC Jane. After Mandy got kicked out of the company for doing her work on a website that she wasn't supposed to be doing. And that they never told her that she couldn't. And that's why they let her go and give the belt to Roxanne Perez the first time.
All right, are you caught up now? Is this where you started watching?
Yes, this is where I started watching.
All right. So I'll let you take over to the next part. Do you have the form in front of you or no?
Yes, I do. So after all of the spiel that we had going on our end, we had the lovely match of Shawn Spears versus Ridge Holland, the one who retired and cannot stay retired for longer than 72 hours, apparently, because he decided to accidentally hurt people afterwards. So basically, it was a good back and forth. It wasn't a super long match. It had it in picture-in-picture, which I think is so ridiculous. I think they should just stop doing that format because the commercial overtakes the match that's happening, so you don't see what's happening because you're too busy paying attention to the commercial that's happening. But it was fine. It was a fine match. Shawn Spears got brutalized by Ridge Holland because that man is ginormous. And now they're taking advantage of he accidentally breaks people. Now we're going to make him do that for real. Like, we've all already been knowing that. Y'all are just finally making him mad and upset, and now he's going to actually do something with that. And it was fine. I mean, Ridge Holland gets the win against Shawn Spears. Now we just got to see where it goes from there with those two.
I honestly don't really get why they brought Ridge Holland down to NXT
because he wasn't paid attention enough up in SmackDown, and people were getting kind of bored after Sheamus was out due to injury.
Well, I think that's what really led to it was when Sheamus got hurt, they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with them. So Pete Dunne stayed, and Ridge Holland got sent down because nobody was paying attention to him up there. Nobody was paying attention to him down here until he accidentally hurt people more and more. They're like, this guy is hurting people too much up here on our main roster. Let's send him down. And then we can accidentally hurt people down there.
I'm trying to figure out your shirt there. What is this?
It's Aaliyah. It was a collaboration with H&M. I figured I'd put it on since it's the most beachy-like thing that I have right now available.
I was gonna say Janet Jackson, but I'm glad I didn't say nothing right off the bat.
Nothing wrong with that. Both very talented musicians of color. May Leah soul rest in peace now and forever.
All right, so Ridge Holland gets the victory on this this match. It was a good heartfelt match. I thought it was a pretty decent match.
Yeah, it was one of those matches where you were looking at the people and they're like, who do we cheer for? Because both are villains. Like when that happens, who do you cheer for? But when you like you don't dislike it as much.
I guess you cheer for the one that you really like.
Yeah, but it's hard when the company's making you just like both of these people.
True, very true. All right, so on to let's see. Roxy Perez is backstage
and is moaning and groaning about how she didn't get drafted and blames Ava for it, saying it's all her fault, even though Ava's explaining champions stay where their champions at. And Roxanne's like, I don't care. You probably did something. You probably told them something. You probably told Adam and Nick that, oh, don't draft her, blah, blah, blah. Girl, if you're a champion, they ain't going to bring you back. They ain't going to bring you up. They tried to avoid with you what they did with Indy in the last draft. Because last draft, Indy Carwell got drafted up when she was champion. Then they had to vacate that belt and then make a whole tournament for it. They trying to avoid doing all that because they got to do that with the Women's North American Championship.
Yes.
Like, girl,
okay.
What do you want? You said you weren't going to get drafted up because you're going to be here in NXT being champion. What do you want him to do?
Off to the trainer's room as Josh Briggs is in the trainer's room with Obafemi, and Wesley is there as well. And I guess this is like a happy promo. And Wesley
kind of like talking about like what happened in the match. Briggs says that Ova hits hard as hell, which he does. And Wesley wants a title shot, and Josh Briggs wasn't happy about that. He's like, get your ass to the back of the line. You don't need to be cutting nobody. And Wesley's like, I ain't trying to cut nobody in line, but I'll gladly fight you for a number one contendership for that title. So we're going to get that soon.
The final
both of them, so we'll see where that goes.
The final testimony cut a promo with Paul Ellering, telling everyone that WWE is living on a borrowed time, and they are coming back.
Borrowed time from what? Last time we checked, y'all lost in WrestleMania. So what y'all gonna do now?
This is true. They did lose.
Y'all lost because the special guest referee was Bubba Ray Dudley, and he helped get y'all's asses whooped. Because Lord knows that if the pride of Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and B-Fab lost over there, people are going to be talking about how, the white people beat the minority. Like, y'all, calm down. It wasn't going to be like a disaster, but that is AEW occasionally when they make their talent of color be champions in February.
I agree with you,
You
Mike.
cannot tell me that I'm wrong on that, because if you do, then you're out your mind.
No, I see what you're saying. I tell you what, I think that match at WrestleMania was probably my least favorite, and I think it was a waste of time. I really don't understand. I know they were trying to pay homage to the ECW originals, but I really don't think Bubba Ray was the person to pick. That's here and there. Let's talk about the tag team championship match. Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, taking on the NXT champions
of Nathan Frazier and Axiom, the fastest tag team they have down there, so to speak.
Now, this is the first time I watched these guys, and I got to say they are pretty fast, and yeah, it was a good match. I at one point I really did think Authors of Pain had the match.
Well, that's what they want you to expect when you have speed versus power.
This is indeed It's funny that the whole faction came down. Scarlet and Karrion Cross are all here ringside. They get themselves kicked out of ringside, but I feel like the match ends too quickly for them to go to the back. That's saying that they lost and retaining their championships. You enjoy this match?
I always enjoy watching Nathan Frazier and Axiom in that ring. They are two of my favorites. I do love speedy wrestlers in that sense, ones that are very fast. Besides brutally aggressive ones, I enjoy ones that move very fast because I can't move that fast, and I will never be able to move that fast as far as like in a wrestling room because that will never happen. But I gladly enjoy watching that, and I've seen both of them live as well, so I will always have those memories, and I just love them. Nathan Frazier is one of my favorites in NXT right now.
EC
and
told
that's
me
why I was happy that champions were safe when it came to our draft, so I didn't have to worry about losing them.
EC told me that you used to be a wrestler at one point, right?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. My headset was being a little weird. What was that?
I said EC said you used to be a wrestler at one point.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
And we'll see.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see where we at here. Let's see. Okay, so we're at Andre Chase and Chase U and all them are in the training room, and Ridge Holland comes up to Chase U and says, "Hey, listen, if you need if I got your back if you need me." And Thea Hale is still complaining about getting her back being turned on one of her good friends.
I mean, it's kind of confusing, but it's one of those things where the girl was upset, partially because she didn't get drafted up to either of the main rosters. Like, girl, don't take it out on Thea Hale just because you didn't get drafted. Neither did she. You want to complain with somebody? Hell, go to a training room, stick a picture of one of the 4 girls that did get drafted, and punch the heck out of that. Don't take it out on Thea. Thea did nothing wrong to you.
Now we're seeing the ring being broken apart, getting ready for the NXT Underground match.
Correction, the first ever women's battle underground match that they
That's
have
right.
down there.
Because they started
NXT.
They did do the one with for the Raw brand back when they had the pandemic, and that was I would tell you what, I think this is a little different than that one. I don't correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really remember seeing them fighting outside of the ring. Do you remember
Not
them?
too much. I don't remember seeing too much of that either.
Yeah. So this was a little different. Layla Vice taking on Natalya.
Yes, Miss Lola Vice, one of the newer signees that they had in the past year that the crowd loves, even though she's supposed to be a villain. A lot of them people over there love their Latina ladies, and they like when she's in that ring shaking her butt.
This match was a little interesting. The camera angles in this match were very fast paced and up in your face. Are you liking this new style of shooting that WWE's trying to go towards, where they're following the talent out of the tunnel to the crowd and these very like zoom in shots that they're doing?
I don't mind some of it. I don't like when it's too zoomed in because then I feel like it's a little distracting and you're trying to see certain things, but you can't see some things if it's too zoomed in. I've seen some videos online of one company that tends to do that, where they have it like the camera like literally in the ring and it's zoomed into what they're doing. It's a little hard to watch, but they're trying to do something with it.
So tell me about this match. What did you like? What did you not like?
I appreciated everything that they were trying to do for Miss Lola Vice, trying to make her look like she's in her element, which in a match like this, considering she's a former mixed martial arts fighter and stuff like that, it definitely was more her element than what she's been doing recently. But and Natty is always there to make the young talent look good. So people need to stop dogging on Natalia. Like, oh, she's too old. Oh, she should leave. Oh, she should stop being in the ring and let other people shine. Why do you think she's in there? To help make the talent shine. Why do you think she and her husband TJ have the Hart Family Dungeon to help train everybody, whether you in the WWE, whether you in AEW, in NWA, in TNA, in any indie company? They will take in anybody and help train them to make them talented. So why complain about somebody trying to help people that you like look good? Because if you have somebody in there with someone with the same amount of experience they have and they can't make your favorite look good, then you're going to dog on them because they're not experienced. You're going to be like, oh, why didn't you put somebody in the ring that can work with them, that can make them look good? Then stop complaining.
I agree with you. I agree. At one point in this match, I'm not gonna lie to you. At one point in this match, I was watching it. I kind of lost track of where they were in the arena, because I'm used to seeing the ropes and not being so dark. So
Yeah.
I thought they fell in some kind of like corner, and they were beating each other up. But then turns out it was the corner of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is this something that we're going to see more often for the NXT brand, for Underground, for the women and the men?
Maybe like once in a while kind of thing, but like not even once in a while, like maybe once a blue moon, like every so often, like maybe once in like 5-6 months or maybe more. I don't know. Maybe they'll save it for like people that are like former fighters and stuff like that, so they can have something like this to help make them look better than what they are at the moment.
I think she needed to win this match to make her character progress more. I understand what they did here.
They've had Lola win multiple times and only had her lose like a good handful to make it seem, to show people that even the ones that they love the most are going to lose eventually.
Yeah,
Some of y'all really need to be fine with when they lose, because it is not the end of the world when they lose. Like when she went up against Roxanne Perez before the girl turned heel, they booed that girl when she walked in the next week, all because she beat Lola Vice. Like, y'all, calm down. Y'all go there every week to see these people. Y'all are still gonna see Lola. She didn't injure her badly. She didn't break her arm. She didn't break her elbow. She didn't break her face. She didn't break any part of her body. Y'all need to calm down when it comes to that.
Is NXT a brand that you try to go as much as you can to?
I did before when I had a job that would allow me to. I had a job where I had a very sporadic schedule, so there were times where I could go. When you have a set schedule, it's hard to go because of when you leave, how they take you over there, when you need to go in the next day. Because before, you could drive over there, get dropped off, and leave however you please and park there or park nearby. Now you get picked up at Full Sail University. They drive you over to the Performance Center on the bus, and they got to take you back so you can get your car and go home. And that can take a while because there's a lot of people waiting and not that many buses that come back and forth.
I think that's one reason why I don't go anymore. I'm not a big fan of getting controlled by WWE and how they're doing things.
It might not always be sunny in Philadelphia, but it's sunny a good percentage of the time down here.
Yeah,
especially the farther down in Florida you go.
Yeah, it's more sunnier here than it is in Philadelphia. Let me put it that way. All right. So, what would you rate this show tonight? What would you, if you had to give it a grade, what would you say?
Probably a solid B.
Okay. I was going to go
the best, not the worst.
I was going to go B minus. Now, would you say that Spring Break night one was better?
Yes.
Okay.
It had more action and a lot more that I enjoyed. This one, it had a couple things that I enjoyed. My only thing that I really did enjoy was a return. not even one of the matches.
So I gotta tell you, Wrestling Doll, knowing that we've been doing this show now for almost 45 minutes. I've had time to think. And if you had to redo your draft picks from Raw, SmackDown to make a show like tonight a better presentation, and you had to pick 4 people to replace what you had, would you do it, and who would you pick?
Well, I mean, I would. The one thing that we had to pick one tag team per round. So if I could have added another tag team, I would replace Ivar with the team of Cedric Alexander and Ashanti the Adonis, since they weren't being utilized much in the main roster, even though now they've been drafted to SmackDown. So I would have added them on there, but I had already picked Malik Blade and Edris Enofe and the Unholy Union, since they weren't being utilized either. Let's see. I mean, I probably would have picked for the entirety of the OC to come down because, again, they're not being used much up there. I probably would have picked Karrion Kross to come back down to NXT, since he was a very dominant character in the brand and was a very dominant champion. And I did enjoy his work down there. And what they did to the main roster in the beginning, the nightmare.
I always look at NXT as a brand where I could say there was a handful of people that really made NXT special. And I know one person in particular. I feel like a lot of people are not going to remember this person, but I'm going to tell you what, when I went to Full Sail and I watch NXT, I feel like this person really put I mean, I'm not going to say he had the best in-ring talent, but I'm going to say when he came out, the whole crowd was nuts. And that's No Way Jose. I honestly, I think when he was there, people loved him coming into the crowd and dancing around. And like I said, not the best wrestler, not the best storylines for him, but you always have to have them people on the roster that just put a smile on your face and make you get up and move after maybe a certain match that was very boring.
That's completely fair, and I totally understand that.
Now if I was doing your list,
Mm-hmm.
if I was doing your list and I had to pick out of your list, I would say I would take away, I would keep the family, and I would keep Cora Jade, and I would get rid of everybody else.
How did I know you was going to say that?
I would get rid of everybody else. And I would fill it in with people. First off, I feel like what NXT is really, really missing down there, I feel like they're really missing a star from either SmackDown or the Raw brand that would be willing to come to NXT maybe once or twice a month to really get that place popping. And I feel like they're really missing that. Even with the tag teams, listen, when people come to NXT, they want to feel special. They want to be like, hey, listen, we're from Orlando or we're traveling to Orlando or here on vacation. We want to see something that's not being done, or maybe you can't go to a SmackDown or a Raw show. Maybe they're not coming to your town. But that's what I feel like NXT's missing, is they're missing that piece of the puzzle of these people to jump the brand to come. Would you agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, are we missing anything for tonight? Are we missing anything that we should be talking about? We talked about the draft. We talked about NXT tonight. Did you want to cover any of the SmackDown or Raw draft picks at all?
No. I mean, we talked about the drafts that got picked from NXT. And as far as the ones that got drafted onto Raw and SmackDown, most of them were people that were already on the brand, and people were like, oh, this is the worst draft ever. Why are they even doing it? If these people have storylines that are on and they're on certain brands, they're going to keep them there to finish it. there have been times where people complain that they switched over brands, and then there would have to be like going like more in the Survivor Series and stuff, and there was no brand loyalty, and then y'all complain about that. What's the point of y'all complaining about certain things they're trying to take care of what they have right now? All I know is I can't wait to see what Chelsea Green and Piper Niven do to Nick Aldis, trying to make his life miserable when everybody knows he don't take shit from nobody.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not the biggest WWE fan. I used to be. I am more of an AEW fan.
That's fair.
And I honestly, I'm going to tell you, I really can't watch a full show. Tonight I did because I was coming on here and talking with you. But if I'm not on, you know, I'm usually just watching highlights or clippets from the past shows.
That's fine. I completely get it.
All right. Was there anything else you want to add before we take a journey into a deep sleep?
Well, for starters, we do have to talk about what's coming up in the future as far as all our popular review shows, which everybody can follow on all our social medias that are shown right here on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I refuse to call it X because that's still the dumbest name ever on this planet. Patreon and Twitch. I have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go and record matches in Central Florida and occasionally South Florida. We have the Mike Knox Show on Mondays at 6 o'clock for the intelligent wrestling fan. After Raw on Monday nights, we have the Monday Night Raw review. We have the NXT Tuesday shows. We have Dynamite AEW, which is happening tomorrow. We have Collision. And we have SmackDown, which is shown on Fridays, but reviewed on Saturdays. So be on the lookout for all that. Don't forget to press the notification bell to make sure that you are notified of when we put out a show, not just on our end, but also keep an eye out for the entertainment side. We're talking X-Men, we're talking other TV shows, we're talking movies. Be on the lookout for everything that we have to offer out there. Be on the lookout for when Ron puts out a new episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast with him and Miss Jay Sawyer. And when thank you and good night to everybody.
I'm trying to see. I thought he put it on here. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, he did. I do want to add before we go, if you are in the Central Florida area, Lake Mirror area, I'm putting on a new set of shows called Game Night. This is Tournament Edition. We are doing Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate this Saturday. May the force be with you. Come out to Friendly Confines, Lake Mary, 7025 County Road 46A. I'll be giving away gift cards, gift certificates, Spada gift cards. I'll be giving away T-shirts, games, you name it, I got it. So if you're a Super Smash or you're a Mario Kart player, come out, have a good time. Starts at 8 o'clock, probably go to about 10 or 11 o'clock. Come join me. Come have some fun. Let's play some Mario Kart.
Well, that's said. Get your geek on, whether it be with video games or with wrestling, and have a great night tonight and catch some sleep.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you guys on the flip side. Peace out.